12345 Enter. Login. I will control this computer from anywhere using my smartphone. Not only that, I also connect a mouse, keyboard and monitor for work convenience. How to work remotely like that? Let's get started. On Windows 11, I enable a service available on this operating system called Remote Desktop. There are many applications that help me remotely access my computer, but perhaps Remote Desktop gives the best experience. Although the setup steps for the first use are more difficult than other applications, the results are worth it. I did not encounter the problem of the screen shrinking or two mouse cursors appearing like other software. Smooth and stable operations. On the Windows computer, I enable the Remote Desktop service, set a password and find its local IP address. Before controlling the computer remotely, I set up control in the local network. Don't forget to restart to apply the changes. Otherwise, you won't be able to control it over the network. On the smartphone, you install an application called Windows App. Previously, the application was called Remote Desktop. It has changed its name and logo. But basically, the main features are unchanged. On the application, I add a new computer I want to control remotely. You enter the local IP address in the box named PC name. User account. Enter the account with remote access rights using the Remote Desktop service. This is the account with remote access rights I set up in the previous step. Note that the computer and smartphone are on the same local network set. I will introduce how to control via the internet in the next step. Quickly, the computer has been controlled by the phone. So it will be like a miniature computer. I do not stop here but continue to connect other peripherals for a better experience. First of all, connect the mouse to the smartphone. The mouse uses a USB-A port, so a converter is needed. USB to Type-C. Connect the mouse to the phone using a converter. You can use a Bluetooth mouse if you want, so you do not need this converter anymore. Try it a little, it is much better than using a touch mouse. The phone has been connected to the computer mouse. Next is the keyboard. Use it to enter text. Cannot work for a long time with the touch keyboard on the phone. That is very difficult. With a USB port, it is impossible to connect both the mouse and the keyboard. So I use a USB hub. There are 4 USB ports. Connect up to 4 different devices. Connect the mouse via USB hub. Then connect the keyboard. Open a text editor and check the results. Typing text using a computer keyboard is much easier than the phone's touch keyboard. But the screen is small, working for a long time is not good for the eyes. I use a large screen, a computer monitor. But the USB hub cannot connect to the screen, so I use another adapter. This adapter has many different types of connection ports. HDMI, 2 Type-C ports, 2 USB-A ports. I connect the mouse and keyboard, then connect the computer monitor. Connection successful. Now the phone is like a desktop computer. With these peripherals, I can work longer without worrying about eye strain or back pain. Don't forget the power source for the phone. I power the smartphone via an adapter. On the adapter there is a Type-C port for this. The last problem is controlling the computer over the internet. You are out of your house or office but still working with just your phone. I don't choose VPN because the connection speed is affected. Third-party apps also don't optimize the connection speed. Port forwarding on the router is my choice. Stable connection. Although the initial setup is more difficult than other options. Set up a static IP address on the target computer. On the router, forward port 3389 to the local IP address of the target computer. You can change the default port to avoid bad guys trying to access your computer if you want. Because I use the address public dynamic, so I use dynamic domain name service. DuckDNS is a popular free service. It can be installed on many different platforms including Windows. I use dynamic domain name service to update public IP address. Because the target computer is constantly active, so it will update the public IP address if there is a change. On Windows computer, you install the client and set up domain name and token. On phone, I add a new computer connection. Instead of using local or public address, I use dynamic domain name. Using the same login account. I use mobile data on phone and start controlling target computer over internet. Here's how I control a computer from anywhere. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Select computer connection using domain name. Establishing connection. Connected successfully.